Hey, what's going on, guys? Kale Mike with theeasiestbusiness.com. I want to bring you a video that I promised you a couple of days ago. This is us talking about what is a schedule of values, and I'm going to show you actually how to make a sample schedule of values here. Your results may differ, and what I mean by that is you may get some specific things that the general contractor that you're working for is requesting on your schedule of values. So always listen to your general contractor, and if you're unsure, always ask them before you just make up a schedule of values. But this is basically what will be on every basic schedule of values. They may be more in-depth than others, or they may be more in depth than this, or they may even not be as in depth as this. But this is just a quick, hopefully a little 5-minute video to show you what a schedule of values is. Basically, a schedule of values is something that you bill off of for a long job. So if it's a job that takes 3 months to paint and 3 or 6 months to paint instead of just a couple of weeks, they may ask you to do a schedule of values. And then when you do the portion of work that coincides with the schedule of values, you get to bill off of that schedule of values. So I'll show you what I mean. So basically, let's just jump right into it. But before we do that, I am going to hold a webinar January 25th, 2023 to kick the year off correctly. $500. Only 10 people are going to be allowed in. I'm only going to teach 10 people at a time. I'm going to spend a full 8-hour day. That's a Saturday, teaching you guys how to set up your on-screen takeoff, set up conditions, and how to bid blueprints. I'm going to spend 8 hours with you guys doing that. So if you want to, link will be in the description below. If you're not doing a bunch of commercial work, don't sign up for it. If you don't need to know how to really do it, don't sign up for it. I know it's only $500, but don't sign up for it. I don't want to take your money if you don't really need it, but I will be teaching a class of 10 on the 25th of January via Zoom on how to read blueprints. So let's get right into it. Fantasy Painting, because this is just a made-up company name. 123 ABC Street, that's your company, and your address will usually be on there. You'll have the total contract value of whatever building you're painting or whatever. These are just notes. Ignore these. I'll get into these in a second, these splits. And then you have your scope items here. So on the first floor, we're painting walls and ceilings. On the second floor, we're painting walls and ceilings as well. Sometimes you could have this more in depth or less. It could just be walls. If that's all you're doing, it could be doors, trim, crown, and everything. Just whatever substrates you're painting over here in the left side and what floors they go in. Sometimes they won't make you break it down by floor. Excuse me. They'll just put walls and ceilings on here and you can combine the two. But just in the event they ever ask you to, break out walls and ceilings on different floors, maybe it's different phases. You may have it broken down phase 1, 2, 3, 4. This will give you an idea of how to do it. So your contract value is $24,500. Your project name or address is going to be on here. We're painting 123 Hotel Street, 123 Hotel on First Street in whatever city and whatever state. We're going to break it out by labor and material, and then we're going to have total numbers here. So we're doing a 60-40 total split, meaning our contract value of $24,500. Our total of $24,500 is going to be split 50 or 60-40 between the first floor and the second floor. So the first floor is going to have 60% of the budget because it's a little bigger, right? And the second floor is going to have 40%, or vice versa. It doesn't really matter. I mean, it does matter in, when you're doing the project yourself, but for this example, it doesn't matter. So let's just do 60% on the first floor and 40% on the second floor. So we're going to take our total contract value here, $24,500, and we're going to get 60% of it. And we're going to budget 60% for the first floor. So what I like to do is take your $24,500 times it by 0.6. That will give you, if you times any number by point, whatever number after the decimal, the number after the decimal will give you a percentage. So if you times it by 1, that's 100%. Anything after the decimal, 0.99 will give you 99%, 0.5 will give you 50%, so on and so forth. So we're going to hit equals. So 14,700, we're going to copy that. We're going to go over here, 14,700. Oh my gosh, that is not what I wanted to do. 14,700 is going to be our total for this floor. I'm going to go up here and format this numbers. And I'm going to use, where is it? Accounting. So it's a budget number, right? I don't know what that font is. I don't like it though. Okay, so 14,700 is the total for the first floor. That's why I put it over here. And then I'll have the second floor here, and then I'll have a grand total down here. And the grand total should equal this 24,500. So that's a 60-40 split. That's 60% of this number, contract value, on the first floor. Now, if we're doing a 50-50 split on walls and ceilings, that means 50% of this money is going to go in walls, and 50% of this money is going to go in ceilings. So 50%, you can just divide this by 2 or times it by 0.5. I'm just going to divide it by 2. 73.50. So I'm just going to take some more notes here. We're going to delete these later. Save 73.50 each for walls, ceilings on first floor. So if I'm splitting this money 50-50, that means 73.50. The labor and material number has to equal up to 73.50 on walls and 73.50 on ceilings, because we're splitting it 50-50. And this total, that's what comes from here. And we got this number by taking 60% of this number, because 60% of the work is on the first floor. I hope that's all making sense. It makes sense to me because I've done it many times before, but to you, if it doesn't make sense, just ask a comment in the question below, and ask a question in the comment below, and I'll get back to you. So 14,700, 73.50 each. If you multiply 73.50 times 2, that'll give you 14.7, so that checks out. So 73.50, we're doing it 50-50 walls and ceilings, so we're going to take our 73.50, divide it by 2. Well, let's just say, actually, let me step back here for a second. 73.50 is our labor and material number for our walls, and then we have another 73.50 for our labor and material number for our ceilings as well. Now I'm going to break this down just to make it simple. 50-50. I'm going to say our labor is 50% of that number and our material is 50% of that number. And this includes markup as well. So whatever you bid the job at, you're not going to let the GC know your markup. It's not their business what you make off of a project. So 36.75 is half of 76.50. So 36.75 for labor and 36.75 for materials. I put these way too high. Is what's going to be for your walls. And since we have 73.50 each, we're going to go ahead and paste this down here. And then our walls and ceilings, both labor and material, are both broken out the same in this example, just to make it easier for you guys. And all these numbers added up together should give you 14,700 here. And so now that you see how that's done, we're going to need to do the same thing for the second floor. So let's just say you were working on this job and you finished the first floor and you were waiting on phase 2. You could bill for 14,700 and they would pay you 14,700, and then you'd be waiting on the second floor phase to start. So 73.50 each for wall ceilings on first floor. We're going to delete that because we're through with the first floor. We got 60. This is 60% of this number. So you can do this one of two ways. You can go back to your original contract value and do 40% times 0.4. That'll give you 9,800. 9,800 total for second floor. Or you can take this number here and just subtract it from 24.5. So if I'll go back and show you. 24.5 is our original contract value. I'm going to take out what we're charging for floor 1, which is 14,700. 9,800 is going to be the same exact number. So 9,800 total for second floor. 50% of that's going to be in the walls. 50% of that's going to be in the ceiling. So 9,800 divided by 2 is going to be 4,900. 4,900 for walls and 4,900 for ceilings. And then we're going to split these 50% labor, 50% material each. So 4,900 divided by 2 is going to be 2,450. So 2,450, 2,450. That's labor and material column, and includes all our profit and all that good stuff. And then our total for this is going to be 9,800 is going to be our total. Let me format this into a number. Why are these fonts different? Default. There we go. That was bothering me. So these numbers are all the same. If we come down here and do like grand total, and then we could just put in a formula. I know Excel has it. I don't have a subscription to Excel right now. I could drag here. I don't know if, let's see. Boom. They have it. We're going to insert, or we're going to edit this to be accounting. So we get a total, and this should be your total contract value. So that's your first floor, what you're charging. That's your second floor, what you're charging, and that should total up to the contract value, which we can see up here it did. So we can delete this now, because we don't want them to know what our labor and material split is, because it's none of their business, frankly. And then bam, we have a contract value here. We show exactly what we're charging for walls, labor, for ceiling labor, for ceiling material, and for wall material. That's our total for that floor. And then you can add substrates down here if you want to, trim, and you can break it out even further. And I'm not telling you should or shouldn't, but this is a good way to hide some of your costs too, so they can't reverse engineer your number, because some general contractors will try to reverse engineer your number. But regardless, that's the basic breakdown of a schedule of values and how to accomplish said schedule of values. Like I said, always check with your GC prior to doing a schedule of values to see exactly what they want. They may have some pre-written form that they want you to fill out for a schedule of values, or something like that, or they may have certain requirements that it's just company policy that they have to have you put certain things on there, and you bill that way. But whatever, it's pretty general contractor specific. But this is the basic breakdown of what a schedule of value is and how to make one from a follow-up from my last video. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Leave me a comment if you have any questions at all, or any of that seemed confusing to you. Please let me know in the comments. I always read the comments. I respond to all the comments if I have something to say back to them. So let me know. Hit that thumbs up. Share this video with your buddy who owns a business and needs to know this. Like I said, subscribe if you haven't already. And I hope you guys have a good weekend. Thanks.